Students, today we will learn about the topics of thyristor, two transistor model of thyristor, different modes of thyristor, and how we can turn off the thyristor. Once we have already done in the previous class, once it is turned on, there is a way to turn it off. So how we can do it? There is in a various ways. I will let you know one by one. First of all, we will start with the two transistor model. Students, you can see that this is the thyristor or ISCR, thyristor or SCR, PNPN, PNPN. So we are using here PNP, this one portion, PNP. This is half is being separated, NP. This P is here, this N and P is half separated here, half separated here. This is the N. So there is a three terminals in the SCR. So you can see that three terminals in the SCR. You can see that is anode, gate and cathode. Anode, gate and cathode. So this NPN is one transistor. Let us say transistor 1. This NPN is a transistor 2. So that's why it is said to be two transistor model. That's why it is said to be two transistor model. So we know that there is in a one transistor. Let us say it has collector, base and emitter. Collector, base and emitter. Transistor equation with the current amplification factor you have already done in the EDC, that is IC is equals to alpha IE plus ICBO plus ICBO. This is the leakage current. IC is equals to alpha IE plus ICBO. This is the leakage current. This stands for current amplification factor. Alpha is a current amplification factor. Let us say for transistor 1. For transistor 1, it would be IC1, alpha 1, I1 and ICBO1. So you have noted that during the equivalent circuit, we had made IA is being connected to IE1. So a node current can be said as equal to emitter current 1. So in that case, this equation will get reduced to alpha 1 IA plus ICBO1. Now for the second transistor 42, IC2 will be equal to alpha I2 plus ICBO2. Simply this equation we have substituted the values. Now we know that IK is equals to anode plus gate current. Cathode current is equals to always equals to anode plus gate current. It will substitute this value. Now IK is equals to IA plus IG, and we know that IE2 equal to IK. IE2 equal to IK. Will substitute this value. So it means this IA plus IG should have to be substituted over here. IA plus IG plus ICBO2. So you will get the IC1. You will get the IC1. And as for the IC1 is concerned, you can also know that IC anode current is equals to sum of both the collector currents. Anode current is always equal to sum of both the collector currents. Mark, this is an equation number 1. This is an equation number 2. Equation number 1, equation number 2. No, I'll add both the equations, equation 1 and 2. So I will get IC1 plus IC2 is equals to alpha 1 IA plus ICBO1 plus alpha 2 IA plus alpha 2 IG plus ICBO2. So IC1 plus IC2, that is equals to IA. We will substitute this value IA. Alpha 1 IA plus ICBO1 plus alpha 2 IA plus alpha 2 IG plus ICBO2. We will substitute these values. So moving further, now we got the IA is equals to this alpha 1 into IA plus ICBO1 plus alpha 2 I2 plus alpha 2 IG plus ICBO2. IA can be taken towards one side. Let us say, here you will get IA minus alpha 1 IA minus alpha 2 IA equal to ICBO1 plus alpha 2 ICBO2 alpha 2 IG plus ICBO2. Rearranging this equation. Now, I can be taken common. That would be 1 minus alpha 1 minus alpha 2 is equals to alpha 2 IG plus ICBO1 plus ICBO2. From here, you can get the value of IA, that is alpha 2 IG plus ICBO1 plus ICBO2 divided by this value, that is 1 minus, we can also rearrange as minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2, alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is in the bracket. So from the two transistor model, we will get the anode current is equals to this. Anode current is equals to this. So in this way, we can find the anode current. Students, now we will learn the turn on methods to thyristor. We need to turn on the thyristor. What are those methods? We need triggering for that. First method is temperature or thermal triggering. Temperature or thermal triggering. Next is light triggering. We can also make it on by using light. Then there is a forward voltage triggering. Forward voltage triggering. Then there is a rate of change of voltage with respect to time, dV by dt triggering. It is also known as dV by dt triggering. Then there is gate triggering. There is gate triggering. So these are the 5 methods: temperature or thermal triggering, light triggering, forward voltage triggering, dV by dt triggering, and gate triggering. As for the thermal triggering is concerned, here first of all we will discuss thermal triggering. Thermal triggering is concerned, we know that there is a SCRS, P and there is a 3 junctions. So depletion layer of SCR decreases with increase in junction temperature. This is the depletion layer. So it decreases with, if the temperature is increased, it will get decreased. Anode to cathode is near to breakdown voltage. device is triggered by increasing the junction temperature. We can also increase it by using the junction temperature. Increase in temperature within specified values. So temperature has to be increased in specified values. Otherwise, it will get burnout. Otherwise, it will get burnout. So in the thermal triggering, what you have to remember, you should have to decrease with the increase in junction temperature. Then temperature should be in the specified range. Otherwise, it will get burned. Due to this thermal triggering, because thermal runaway will occur, that's why it is said to be thermal triggering. Light triggering, as a name indicate that. Here we are using LASCR. It stands for light activated silicon controlled rectifier. Light activated silicon controlled rectifier. Here light is being fallen on that particular area. So when the light is allowed to strike to this terminal, charges will get generated. And if the light intensity is more, then thyristor will start conducting. So during its conducting, electron and hole pairs are generating by increasing number of charge carriers. By increasing number of charge carriers, due to which instantaneous flow of current and thyristor triggering. So light has to be striken on the gate terminal. This is the thyristor. Here is a gate terminal. So here light has been struck on it. If the intensity of the light would be more, then there will be a chances to turn it on instantly. So that's why this light triggering is also preferred. Light triggering is also preferred. When anode to cathode voltage is increased and gate is kept open, J2 suffers avalanche breakdown at the forward breakover voltage, that is VBO. You can see this is the J1, J2, J3. This J2, it suffers breakover voltage. At that time, we can say that time has been divided into 3 times. That is delay time, TD. Then there is a peak time, that is PP, and rise time, that is TR. So T1 can be said as delay time, peak time, and rise time. Now there is a latching current. We know that latching current is minimum value of a node current which thyristor must attain during turn-on process. Which thyristor must attain during turn-on process when gate signal is removed. So holding current minimum, a node current below which thyristor turns off. Holding current is what? Holding current is the minimum current. Minimum current after which thyristor will get turn off. So this is about the forward voltage. Now there is a dV by dt triggering. dV by dt triggering. We can also make it by dV by dt triggering. So you can see in dV by dt triggering, the forward voltage across the anode and cathode, the outer junctions are J1 and J2 are forward bias. J1 and J3 are the forward biased and J2 is the reverse biased. J2 is the reverse bias. J2 behaves like capacitor due to charge existing across the junction. So this will behave like a capacitor. Because charge has been produced across the junction. Charge has been produced across the junction. When the rate of change of voltage across the devices becomes large, rate becomes large, the device may turn on. Rate of change of voltage. Why it will become large? Because capacitor is, there's a large capacitance has been produced over here. So rate of change of voltage becomes large, and this will turn on the SCR by using dV by dt method. Next is a gate triggering. In gate triggering, we have to apply the positive signal to the gate terminal. Gate triggering, we have to apply the positive signal across the gate terminal. Thyristors can be triggered much before breakover voltage. There is any breakover voltage. We have already studied the characteristics of SCR, VBO, breakover. This is the breakover voltage. We can also make it on before that. Conduction period can be controlled by varying gate signal. So if there is any gate signal, do you remember that in the previous we have done like this? IG1, IG2, IG3. So based on this gate signal, we can make the magnitude of the voltage versus current. Voltage versus current. Voltage of can be controlled by using current based on this gate signal. As the applied voltage increases, the carrier injection increases. As soon as the voltage increases, after that it will go sharp. There would be a change instantly. So due to which it will get triggered. After that, we will learn about the switching characteristics. Switching characteristics are very important. Switching characteristics. Switching characteristics is the time variation of voltage across its anode and cathode. Time variation of voltage across anode and cathode. Across anode and cathode. After turning on the thyristor, gate loses control. When this stage is being attained, after that gate loses the control. There is no control by the gate to turn it off. Thyristor is turned off by reducing the anode current, glow, holding current. So there would be a holding current. This is latching, holding current. So thyristor can only be turned off if this current would be lesser than this holding current. To get the repeated action, it is mandatory that SCR should be reverse bias for finite period. So it also make reverse bias for the finest period of time. This is necessary. In this period, anode current will be 0. During this, anode current will be, or we can say anode is I, anode current will be 0. When it is in the reverse period, time between instant anode current becomes 0 and instant ICR. Now, as for the turn of current is turn of time is related, it is divided into two intervals: reverse recovery time and gate recovery time. Turn of time. Turn of time is divided into two parts. How we can turn off? Turn of time is divided into gate recovery and reverse recovery time. Gate recovery and reverse recovery time. Delay time is measured from the instant when the gate current reaches to 0.9 of gate current. When it reaches to 90% of the gate current, you can see that time versus gate current. Here it will become saturated. Rise time, this is 10%. This is 90%. So this is said to be rise time. The time required to rise from 10% to 90%. 10% to 90%. And here is the 100%. This is the spread time. Time required to reach from 90% to 100%. This is IG, 0.1 IG. So I repeat, 10% to 90% is the rise time. 90% to 100% is the spread time. 90% to 100% is the spread time. So from here we can find that time has been divided into three types: delay, rise, and spread. Delay is before this 0 to 10%. 0 to 10% is delay. Then 10% to 90% is the rise. Then greater than 90 or 90% to 100% is the spread time. 90% to 100% is the spread time. As per the switching characteristics is concerned, so you can say that during transition period, power loss will occur. During transition period, we know that when transition is from on to off or off to on, power losses will occur. Power losses will occur, and it would be I square R. When anode voltage will be minimum, when anode voltage is minimum, this is minimum. At that time, anode current would be maximum. Anode current would be maximum. Turn on time. Turn on time. If forward bias thyristors can be turned on by applying positive voltage between gate and cathode terminal. Gate and cathode terminal. Let us see. This is the symbol of SCR. Gate. Anode, cathode. So when it can be turned on by applying positive voltage between gate and cathode. If I'll apply positive voltage between gate and cathode, positive voltage between gate and cathode, but it takes some transition time to go from forward blocking mode to forward conduction mode. So there is some transition period is required. Forward blocking to forward conduction mode. So we must get familiarized with the four modes. What are that? Forward blocking mode, forward conduction mode, reverse blocking mode, and reverse conduction mode. So here you can see on your screen, here are the four modes: reverse blocking mode, reverse conduction mode, forward blocking mode, forward conduction mode. Reverse blocking mode means thyristor open circuit. Reverse conduction mode means thyristor closed circuit. Forward blocking means thyristor open circuit. Forward conduction mode means thyristor closed circuit. So here you can see that anode, cathode, gate to cathode voltage is applied. Gate to cathode voltage is applied. So it is necessary to apply the voltage between anode and gate and cathode. Reverse blocking mode. Voltage to anode to cathode is negative. Negative voltage is applied to anode with respect to cathode. The junction J1 and J3 are the reverse bias. Then you can say that junction J1 and J3 are the reverse bias and J2 is the forward bias. J2 is the forward bias. SCR in its worst blocking state SCR is in reverse blocking state. That is, it acts as a open switch. And that it will act as a open switch. As for the reverse conduction mode is concerned, here reverse breakdown voltage is VBR, and avalanche breakdown occurs at the junction J1 and J3. J1 and J3. SCR acts as a closed switch in reverse direction. Here it will act as a closed switch. Large current will gives more losses in silicon controlled rectifier, and which will be dissipated in the form of heat. Forward mode. Here anode to cathode voltage is positive, gate is 0, gate voltage is 0. When a positive voltage is applied to a node with respect to cathode, junctions J1 and J3 are forward biased. At that time, J1 and J3 are forward biased. J2 is reverse bias. J2 is reverse bias. You can see J1 J1, J2, J3. J1 and J3 are forward bias. J1 and J3 are forward bias, and J2 is reverse bias. A depletion layer will be formed in this region. A small amount of current is called, at that time is said to be forward leakage current. Forward conducting mode, for that anode to cathode voltage should be positive, gate voltage should be positive. At that terminal, at that time, J3, J2 becomes forward bias. At that time, J2 becomes forward bias. J1 and J3 is already forward bias. And when a node to cathode voltage is positive and gate voltage is positive, at that time J2 will also become forward bias. When this will become forward bias, then this mode will occur. We will discuss about the turn on time of SCR, and if turn on time is there, very important thing is firing angle. Firing angle is most important. It is defined as the angle between instant SCR would conduct if it were a diode. Would conduct if it were a diode. Firing angle. For that, there should be two conditions. SCR must be forward bias and it must be gated. It should be forward biased and it must be gated. SCR is forward biased, it is not going to conduct until gate signal is applied. We know that when it will conduct, until gate signal is applied. Again, I repeat, when it will conduct, when it is, there is a holding current. When it should have, gate current should be more than holding current, it will conduct. So there should be a gate signal should be high. In that case, we can perform for it. Firing angle may also be defined as angle measured from the instant SCR gets forward biased to the instant it is triggered. When it is being triggered, to understand this, we'll draw one diagram. So there is a SCR. This is diode. If we'll apply gate over here, it will act as a SCR. AC supply, resistance, there should be load voltage. Here you can see a thyristor is connected across the source voltage Vs and load resistance R. Just think, if the thyristor is replaced with diode, if it is being replaced with the diodes, it will start conducting immediately as when it will become forward bias. But this is the SCR, it will not conduct immediately till the gate pulse is not applied. Till the gate pulse is not applied. So what happens in the case of the thyristor? So normally this is the input or AC supply. This is the AC supply. In case of diode will conduct this whole period. But as far the SCR is concerned, it will not conduct for the whole period. There should be a, when gate current would be higher than this anode current. So here you can see that these are the pulses, these are the firing pulses. Firing pulses. 0 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. So this is the firing pulses. So SCR will only get on at this pulses. So you will get the output as in this way. You will get the output as, there would be a delay. So this would be the firing angle. It is termed as alpha. This would be the firing angle. It is termed as alpha. So firing angle, you can say that the current through which the SCR will become zero, as the load is resistive in nature. Here the load is resistive in nature. This would be the firing angle. So we can broadly say that firing angle is an angle after that SCR starts conducting. Firing angle is an angle after that SCR will start conducting. So we can say that this would be the firing angle. At this point, SCR will start conducting. So as firing angle is an important characteristics. So turn off time is different for SCR. It has 4 factors. This is about the turn on time. Where for the turn on time we are related with the firing angle alpha. This is the firing angle alpha. Now there is a turn off switching characteristics. It has been classified into 4 types: storage, fall, tail. Storage time, fall time, and tail time. So if you will add this, let us say this turn off time is termed as T2, storage time as TS, fall time as TF, tail time as TT. So this would be equal to TS plus TF plus TT. So there would be a storage time. How much time it will take for the storage? Fall time. A node voltage and the current remains constant. In storage time, a node voltage and current remains constant. So that would be the storage time. As far the fall time is concerned, it begins to fall rapidly and the anode voltage start rising. Begins to fall rapidly and anode voltage. So fall time when anode voltage starts when the anode voltage starts rising, that would be the fall time. Tail time, the anode current and the voltage continue towards the turn off value. These are reaching to the turn off value. Anode voltage and anode current are reaching towards the turn off value, then it is said to be tail time. Next is a snubber circuit. Snubber circuit are placed across semiconductor devices for protection. These are used for protection. Snubber circuits are used for protection. So it may eliminate voltage. It may eliminate voltage or current spikes. It may eliminate current voltage or current spikes. This is plays very important role during the protection. Gate characteristics of SCR. Gate characteristics of SCR gives a idea to operate in the safe mode, safe region. Gate characteristics. It gives an idea to operate in the safe region. Safe region means SCR will not get burnt. At the time of manufacturing, each SCR or thyristor is specified with maximum gate voltage, specified with maximum gate voltage, gate current, and maximum average gate power. So these limits should not be exceeded. So whatever the maximum values, so range should be below than these values, otherwise it may get turned off. A gate turn triggering is also mentioned as time of manufacturing. So gate triggering, what we have earlier done, gate triggering is also mentioned while you purchase this. It is available on the data sheet. So gate triggering can be understood by taking this figure as shown on the board. There is an SCR. You can see this is the SCR. Here load has been applied. Load has been applied across the gate. Source supply is there. Source supply is there. So this would be your trigger circuit. This would be your trigger circuit. This is your voltage and this is your resistance, and there is a anode cathode gate. Anode cathode gate. So by using this triggering method, we can also use the gate characteristics of the thyristor. Gate characteristics has been shown by using the trigger circuit. Next is the gate cathode reverse voltage protection. Gate cathode reverse voltage protection. To understand this, for the protection, we will use the diode at the with gate of the SCR. This is the SCR. This is its gate. Diode is used here. Resistance and supply voltage. This is anode, cathode, gate, diode, resistance, and supply voltage has been applied. Maximum reverse, if there is a possibility of the reverse gate cathode, if there is any possibility, this diode will prevent it, because this will not conduct after this value. So that's why protection is made by using this diode. Thyristor protection can be used with the various other ways. Due to reverse process in SCR during turn off, voltage overshoot occurs. What happens? Voltage overshoot occurs. So this can be done by, solved by using the protection of SCR, and it also prevent it from using it, get it burnt off. It also helps to protect it to get burnt off. Here, different protection techniques are DI by dt, dV by dt, over voltage protection, over voltage protection, over current protection, over current protection, thermal protection. These are the protections are used to protect the SCR if there is any excessive voltage or current flows through it.